So this is a tutorial about how to import sound into Adobe Animate and some of the nuances of using it. So first of all, I've made a button, I've made the structure of a button at least. I'm going to select it all. I'm going to press Control right click, convert it to a symbol, make sure that that symbol is a button here, not a movie clip, a button. And I'm going to call it Go BTN. And I'm going to say OK. Oh, sorry, I've already done this before. Let's call it Go something else. Go button. OK. I'm going to actually delete the Go BTN because I use that for something else. So there's my Go BTN button. It's now become a button. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a little sound on it. I am going to double click it on the stage, and then I'm simply going to populate all of those frames by just pressing, I'm using a Mac, so it's FN F6 all the way through to the hit state. And then on the overstate, I think I'm just going to simply change the colour of the button so that we can see that it indeed is a button. And then we can put a sound on the button. So we can, it has to be a really short sound, otherwise it won't work properly. So on the overstate, I'm going to simply import a little sound effect that I made already. I can do it straight to the stage, but I'm going to import it to the library so you can see how it works. So my button is called button.wav, and I'm going to open that, and let's just make sure that it works. You can see it's got a waveform on it, which is a good start. There it is, very simple. So that's my little button sound, and that could be used for a sound effect, could be used for anything you like, but in this case I'm going to put it on my button. So I'm just going to drag it onto the stage when making sure that this is in the selected on the overstate. And then you see the little sound wave appears there, so that should be good. So let's go back to scene one. I just wanted to say, so I'm on frame one, I've got my button on frame one, my animation doesn't start until frame two. So I've also got a little bit of action script, which let's go and have a look at again. We've got two pieces. We've got a stop action, which is what we really want. And then on the button itself, I've already put, actually that's for the old one, so let's just delete all of that. And then let's just test the button first. There you go, so the sound's working and the button's working, so let's close that. So while we're in actions, we might as well select the button. It's got a different name than the other one. So I'm going to use, let me just drag it over there, I'm going to use the code hints, and it's action script, timeline navigation. And what we want to do is when someone clicks on that button is go to and play frame 2. So we could go to next frame, we're going to go to frame and play. Okay, it's telling me off because I didn't give that button an instance name. So we need to go back into the select the button, go back into the properties inspector, and I'm going to call it Go But. There we go, that's a good name. Double click, then select the button again, and then we can go back to our code hints, and then this time it should let me do it. So go to and play frame. So we've got Go But, that's the name of my button. It's an instance name. You might have more than one of them. And then it calls a function. That's the name of the function. That could be anything you like. So it could be play frame 2. But that means that you've got to change this one to play frame 2 as well, and they need to be exactly the same. If you do any spelling errors or you lowercase and uppercase, it won't work. You'll get an error. So this one, in this case, it's saying listen if someone clicks the mouse. If they click the mouse, do this. This is the name of the function, and then it says what the function is. So this is declaring the function, and it says at the moment it's saying go to and play frame 5, but actually we want it to play frame 2. So let's test that. And there it works. And I haven't got a stop on the end, so it should go all the way back and loop back until it gets to frame 1, and there it is. Okay, so I'm going to close that. So the next thing we're going to do is to put some sound on the timeline itself. But I want the sound to start playing in frame 2. I've already got a sound layer made. I've already got a keyframe made on frame 2. To do that, you just insert timeline and then insert a keyframe, or just select the frame and hit F6 if you're using a PC, or F6 if you're using a Mac. So the next thing we need to do is import our longer bit of sound. So we're going to import to the library again. And I know it's called edited version, and it's about 40 seconds long, and I'm going to say open. And you need to go and find it in the library. You use the library a lot when you're using Animate, because that's where you keep all your assets. So let's just make sure it's got a waveform. That's good. Let's give it a little bit of a play. There we go. So that's working. So again, so then I make sure I've got the layer where the sound is going to play on it. And that's really just to keep organised. You can put things on any layer you like, but be warned, you'll get into a huge muddle if you do that. So we're going to we've got a sound layer. I know that I don't want the sound to play on frame 1. I want it to start on frame 2. So I'm simply going to drag that over onto the stage, and you'll see that miraculously a waveform has appeared. So let's just play that sound, and you'll notice that it doesn't work. And the reason it doesn't work is because when you've got two different ways of playing sound in Animate. One is by using an event, or one is by streaming. So what we need to do is just go quickly into the Properties Inspector. I've got the sound frame selected, and you can see that on the sync it's got it as an event. We want it to be a stream, and now when I play it and pause it and play it, it will always be there. And you're going to need that, because when you're animating and you want to animate it to a specific sound, you're obviously going to need to hear what the sound is, otherwise you'll get into a muddle. So let's just test that and make sure that that works. Okay, so it's playing the sound. There we go. And that's about it. And you can obviously have as many sound effects as you want. Once you've got your animation sorted out, it may well be that you want certain things to happen on certain sounds, so you can drag around. So if I listen to a little bit of this, you can drag around where your keyframes are in order to sync them up. So it might be that I've got on this frame, I might actually want that to happen a lot faster than it does, so I just drag that there. And then if we test it again, it goes a bit faster. And that's about it.